The Nuggets were cooked, and then they clutched another win from the jaws of defeat, handing the Golden State Warriors a painful loss as they are the ones to deal with an epic collapse. Jamal Murray with the block, Jokic with the block, Christian Braun dives and definitely doesn't call timeout. Great quotes from Malone. It's a feel-good win here on No Jinx on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Wednesday for No Jinx. I'm Matt Moore, senior NBA writer for the Action Network, joined by Ryan Blackburn of Mile High Sports. You can check out the new Mile High Sports magazine, by the way, which has got a cover photo of Aaron Gordon that made my wife say this exact thing. Oh my. That was the actual, and she was like in front of me when she said this thing. So I brought her home a copy of that Mile High Sports magazine. Shouts to Anilo for handing me that, who does our postcast, by the way. Make sure you guys listen to that as well. Check out Ryan's work over at Mile High Sports. Do that, support Ryan. Ryan does so much work. He pours so much work into trying to be the best analyst that he can be, and he deserves your support. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I have a little bit of news that I want to let you know. If you go on the web, on the World Wide Web, mind you, if you go to thedenverdig.com, it is a brand new Substack I have started, which covers the Nuggets. I will be doing several updates a week with deeper dive analysis on the Nuggets. I get 30 minutes on the show with a co-host to talk about Nuggets. We have structure, and I love doing this show. I love it, but I have other stuff I want to say. So I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the, thanks, Ryan. He put the website up at .com/Locked On Nuggets. I'm going to be doing deep dive stuff. I'm going to be doing something on the scheme this week. I'm going to dive into Christian Braun and what makes him so good. All these types of things. I think you'll enjoy it. So go to thedenverdig.com, sign up, and subscribe. Just want to let you know that. You can also, if you want even more, go to lockedondaily.com. We've got our Locked On Nuggets daily newsletter. You're going to get the best quotes from the podcast. You're going to get original content. I'm doing the 10-piece tonight after we get done with this podcast at 2:00 in the morning. I'm gonna write the 10-piece. It gives you a detailed breakdown of what happened in the game every night, every day, Monday through Friday. You get great content from me and Ryan. So make sure to go to lockedondaily.com and sign up for the Locked On Nuggets newsletter. I think I got through all of the X's and O's. So, our structure stuff for the night. So it's 1:19 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Because the Nuggets are now good, and so now we have nothing but these 8:00 games, which I got to tell you, Ryan, was a lot easier when I was 30 than I is 42.
I'm now 28, or I'm now officially 28. It's no longer my birthday today because it's now December 4th, not December.
There we go. That's what I forgot. Everyone go either in the comments here at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets. Wish Ryan a happy birthday. I want to see just rows of happy birthday messages for him. You can also message him on Twitter at NBA Blackburn. It'd be nice to break up the hate that he gets with some nice messages. So wish him a happy birthday. It's very exciting for him to turn 16. That's an exciting day for any young man. All right. Screwed around a lot, which we usually don't do on the show. Let's get to it. Denver Nuggets get the win over the Golden State Warriors in the game that I did not think that they were winning. And then it was usually with their comebacks, I could see it coming. And this one was just I looked up and I was like, they're tied. Yeah. Oh, okay. They got the ball again. Oh, they scored again. Oh, they won. Well, that's cool. It was a wild sequence. The Warriors start the fourth quarter with a 19-4 run. The Nuggets close with a 21-4 run.
It's insane.
Game of runs, as they say, Ryan. We should honestly just treat the fourth quarter as its own thing, and then we can talk about the other stuff. Yoke just an absolute sicko tonight. We were all kind of like, Mahrez was there, and Mahrez was like tweeting about like, yeah, he just doesn't look engaged, and like it
body
just
language, yeah.
Body language was bad. Yeah, here's him in the second half. Or here's him in the fourth quarter alone. Just the fourth quarter. Nikola Jokic goes for 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 6 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 at the line, a +7.
He had 5 steals tonight, man. Like
he had 5. Well, here I'll just give the whole line, Ryan. How about in this one, 38 points, 14 of 24 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3. Because as I told Vinny Benedetto sitting next to me at the game, I'm like, I guess he's just a 50% 3-point shooter now.
That's doing it.
7 of 9 from the free throw line. Again, he gets to the line more than Nuggets fans act like. 10 boards, 6 assists, 5 steals, and a block. Only 4 turnovers. And how about a nice +23 in the old +-? Just
+23 and a 4-point win, Matt. That's just sometimes how you got to do it. There were only 4 guys, I think, in the plus tonight for the +-. It was 4 of the starters and not Michael Porter Jr., which I thought was interesting. It was a very interesting game from Jokic. The first 3 quarters of this one were not what I would discuss as a masterclass, but there were enough moments within there that, okay, he willed Denver to a bucket here. He helped them get a stop here. He set the table for this here. He's rebounding well, even if nobody else really was. Although I do want to give Michael Porter some credit in the fourth quarter for his rebounding. It was just a very interesting game and a very interesting Jokic performance, who I just saw this stat from Jake Coyne, Bronco Squatch, friend of the program. 1,000 days. It has been 1,000 days since Steph Curry has beat the Nuggets.
Jesus. Wow. Okay, that's wild.
I don't know if that's actually true. It feels like that doesn't feel right to me, but it sounds awesome.
I mean,
actually math doesn't really math on that one, so I'm gonna call BS on that. But there was something that he said that Jokic in the last 3 years has a 20-3 record against LeBron James and Steph Curry. 20-3, including the playoffs. And that's after the 2022 season where they got nearly swept. The Warriors have just not been able to do anything with Jokic. And so on a night like tonight, where you're guarding him with Kevon Looney and Trace Jackson Davis, and I thought that Kevon Looney did a really good job tonight, but it doesn't surprise me that he gets 9 free throws against this team, because this team can't control him. They cannot contain him. They like to switch a whole bunch, and they can't do it against Joker, or else he's going to get matchups like he did against Buddy Hield, posting him up in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry running away from him while he's guarding him, and then Joker gets a wide open jumper to take the lead. There were just a lot of those kinds of possessions.
He's right. It was April 27th, 2022. That's the last time that Steph has beaten the Nuggets. Not beating the Nuggets in Denver. Beating the Nuggets.
Long time. That is a long time.
It was game 5 was the last time. Wow.
End of an era.
That's wild, considering that I wrote this thing for thedenverdig.com about what it's like to cover Jokic, and like when I moved here for the 2013 season, when I was like, oh, look how good this team is, and then the Warriors happened.
Yeah.
And so like Steph was like a thing before then because he had like a big Madison Square Garden game, but like really like Steph's career started in Denver with that game, and he was always like liquid hot. Like that was whole thing. Wow, 2000. Wow. Okay. All right. That's nuts.
And then we've also got the LeBronto thing that's going on with Joker and LA. So there's just a lot of changing of the guard going on right now with him.
Okay, we'll take a break. On the other side, Jokic's scoring was so aggressive tonight. It was so good to see. We'll talk about the clutch plays down the stretch from Jamal Murray, from Nikola Jokic, and from Christian Braun, and some shenanigans. And we'll talk about MPJ's performance. I want to shout out Aaron Gordon. We'll get to all that and more. up next here on Locked On Nuggets. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. It is an awesome. I love going to games in December at Ball Arena. It's festive, right? You get to like driving down to Denver. I get to see all the Christmas lights on the I-25 on the way down as I sit in traffic in bumper to bumper. But then like one of my also favorite things to do is just like I've walked through downtown to get to Ball Arena during Christmas time and seeing everything lit up. It's so great. Then you go in and it's like it's festive in the lobby, and like it's just like it's a really fun time to go see games. Avs with a huge win. Make sure to go listen to Locked On Avalanche. Great show that mocks the NBA. Not cool, guys. I want to get you guys on the show and we're going to talk about this. But you can catch the Avs, you can catch the Nuggets, all sorts of great stuff, and you can do it with Game Time Picks, which is going to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your seat views get you a panoramic view so you know what you're paying for. That's so huge when you're talking about tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Ryan?
Game time.
All right, we're also brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the absolute best way for you to be able to win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. It's the best way to get action on sports in 30 states, including California, Florida, Texas, Georgia, and California. Prize Picks, it's the best way to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. All you got to do is sign up today, and you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts selects player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. If you think Steph's going to get more than 5 3-pointers now that he has not been able to do much versus the Nuggets, you can do that. How about Giannis for more than 30 points in their next matchup? Or Jokic to just get all of the overs and everything. Just get more in everything. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Second segment here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. What a huge win for the Nuggets. We're going to talk about the context of that coming up in the third segment. Do want to remind you to go to LockedOnDaily.com, sign up for our newsletter. Also want to let you know you should check out Locked On NBA. It's a great show. I'm on there Monday through Friday. It's me, Doug Branson, and Hayes from Locked On Bulls. It's a really fun show. We've got like a really snappy format. It covers you around the league, gets you insider information from all of our different Locked On hosts. It's a really great show. Make sure to check that out. Also, check out Ryan's Pickaxe and Roll podcast. You can get Ryan's solo thoughts there as well as he goes much deeper. Do not do that again, sir. Do not. YouTube.com/Locked On Nuggets. You can see what Ryan just did, which he is no longer allowed.
Raising the roof, baby. Let's go.
Do not do that. All right. So Joker was amazing again, and he was so aggressive. He got to the floater. He's scoring so much. This is a career high in scoring for Nikola Jokic right now. And so, like, I kind of asked about that after the game. I asked Jamal, and he was like, he's just being aggressive. And for him, you know, if they're going to play him in single coverage, he's going to punish that now where maybe he wouldn't have before and force the double, and now open up things. And it worked because Jokic attacked, and then Looney fouled out. No Draymond. We have not mentioned that. No Draymond Green in this game is important. Like, if this was the other side, it would be like, well, no. So no Draymond Green in this game, which means that they were short, which means that they had to send more doubles. And then they started getting to the Aaron Gordon 2-man game, and AG got 2 dunks late that were really pivotal in the comeback. So good action there. But Jokic has just been so aggressive. And then, like, I asked Jokic about it, and he was like, I don't really think I'm doing that. Like, I just think my threes were falling. And so I decided to go ahead and, like, fact check the young man. And no, like, he's averaging 19.8 shots per game. That is 1.8 more shots per game. That's a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
Like 1.8 shots. That's a huge jump for his usage rate. That's 1.8 more than the 2021 season after Jamal got hurt. So Like he just is more aggressive, and and I tried to put it in a polite way where I wasn't like, hey, so like, are you scoring more because the rest of your team kind of sucks? I didn't want to say that. That's how most fans want me to say it. But I was like, is this what your team needs from you right now? And he kind of rejected that, and that I think is nice. I don't know right now whether or not he thinks that or not, because this I think is one of the more openly frustrated seasons we've seen from him. And so, like, I don't want to make it into a negative, right? Because I think it's awesome. But it also is just like a kind of for me, it's mostly a cool transformation from a guy who never would have wanted to shoot this much 4 years ago to where he is now, Ryan.
Yeah, he's now, I think the burden that he is bearing is fully on his shoulders. And you can see it manifesting in a lot of different ways. I think you can see it manifesting in the pressure, where I don't know if he's fully handling it well, but he's had to do it for 10 years. So I can understand that it gets a little old every once in a while. And now you've got your main running mate in Jamal Murray, who you put up 12 points on 12 shots. It just has not been there from a scoring perspective for the entire season. And I think that Mike, despite the fact that he has shown some growth, he has shown some things, I just don't see like an actual leap there in terms of Jokic's desire and willingness to want to involve him more on a consistent basis because he trusts him so very much. I don't really see that. I see him as a guy who, when the going gets tough, he's going to get going. He's going to score more. He's going to shoot more. He's going to try to put his man underneath the basket and find an angle and get an 8-foot floater or a jump hook. And he makes it 70% of the time. So when you do that, when you're able to do that on a consistent basis, sometimes you got to press that button every now and then. But I'm at that point where, with where Murray and Porter are at, I'm not surprised that he's doing this. I just think he does what he needs to do.
MPJ's at the second highest scoring average of his career, 0.4 behind his career high in 2021. Again, no Jamal that season from at least the back half of it. And like, here's a crazy one. Mike's a career 50, 40, 79 guy. Like he's 50%, 40% for his career field and free throw and 3-point percentage. And we thought he was going to be really great at the line, but that's actually been a little bit of an issue. 62% from the line this season, by the way.
Did go 5 of 6 tonight. I will give him some credit for that, but he missed the 4-point play free throw.
Yeah, 41% from 3-point this season. I don't know. I felt like I think MPJ. I didn't make as much of MPJ not playing down the stretch as some people did. A lot of it was there was a sequence late. Kuminga drove when it was the block. It was when Jokic blocked Kuminga. The Warriors ran off-ball action and got MPJ switched to Steph. And like I saw that and was like, oh no, like this is not going to go well. And they just didn't look for Steph. And sure. I actually I'm writing about this over at SB Nation this week, that I'm going to write a little bit about. Like one of the things is like Kuminga only really has like one lever. It's like he gets downhill. That's what Gary Payton said about him. And that's great. But I don't know that fits with the Warriors, right? And like the inability to, like, if Draymond's on the floor, Draymond's going to be like, get the ball to Steph. Like he's got Michael Porter Jr. on it. Like, right. Go get him the ball.
Right.
And so that difference, I think, really matters there late in the game. But I do think that was the reason that MPJ was subbed. In general, I don't think that MPJ was bad by any stretch tonight. He was the second leading scorer on the team, 22 points, 8 of 14 from the field. This has become like a pattern, though, too, where it's like MPJ kind of like helps them stay afloat for a long time, and then the other guys carry it down the stretch. Like there's a lot of games where MPJ is the one that kind of keeps them afloat for the first little while.
Yeah, I guess the comparison that I had in my head was an innings eater for a pitcher in baseball. That's not fully accurate because he's a little bit better than just that. But he is somebody that, like, you need the points and the rebounds. Like, you need somebody to give you that on a consistent basis. And he has been very consistent in that regard. Sometimes it's just the way that he does it. There were some times where he pressed his own button tonight, and that I thought was, okay, that was a little bit too aggressive. That might not have been the best decision. But like, hey, when Jamal's struggling, when Aaron's just coming back, when Christian had some bad finishes tonight too, when there's not a lot of trust to be had in terms of the team right now, I can understand why it kind of devolves into your own kind of scoring. But Denver's got to get back to trusting. That I think, even though they won tonight, I thought that was a little shaky.
I'm wrong. Yeah, MPJ had 14 of his 22 in the second half, so that's just not a thing that happened. He was a +9.
I will say he's been a really great second half scorer this year. Like that, yeah. If I went and looked at the splits, I'm sure that people will find that he has been scoring way more in the second half than the first half, because the team's like, hey, sorry, man, we forgot to look for you in the first half. We're going to get you involved.
Jamal Murray with a great block late. You asked him about it post game, and he was kind of like, I was already going downhill. So I don't know. Like, I thought on first watch that he just got beat and inexplicably peeled off of Steph, and Steph inexplicably passed. And then I was like, maybe like Jamal just like read this play and it was like a really genius basketball move. And the way Jamal described it, like, no, he just got beat and then peeled off inexplicably and wound up with a position to block Kuminga.
Yeah. Like, hey, sometimes you make plays. Sometimes you're in the right position to do the right thing at the right time. And Jamal is like, he is a high IQ basketball defender. Like that is something that he can do. A lot of it is the physical. It's the ability to do it on a consistent basis, to be willing to be relentless all the time. But he sees things, and he sees the floor really well. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that he made the play. He had 3 blocks tonight overall and a steal. He's had games where he's had 3 or 4 steals. So I honestly thought this was a pretty solid game, but they were attacking him over and over tonight. I thought that was interesting.
Okay, hang on.
You didn't think it was a good defensive game from him?
I thought it was fine. He forced a good miss on Steph on a step back. See, here's the thing. When Steph misses that step back 3-pointer, was that Jamal Murray forcing a miss, or was that Steph Curry missed a step back 3-pointer?
That is not what I would call good defense. Right. That's not what I would say.
It's not bad defense. It's just like, it's Steph, right? And then he goes inside. He goes inside and he goes for the fadeaway and he hits one. Mm-hmm. On like a worse shot because it's Steph. Like,
it looked very easy, by the way. Like, Steph looked really good taking that shot.
Yeah, for like the game, Murray finishes with 12 points on 12 shots. But then, like, I will say, when everyone is constantly just like, well, he's not doing anything. I'm like, he had 7 assists. Like, he's doing something here. Like, he's not. The worst thing you can be in the box in a box score is lots of shots, no makes, and nothing else. And that's not like how Jamal's lines have been. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say Jamal's playing great. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply saying, like, I don't know really how to, like, the reaction to him not scoring is that he's useless. And I'm like, he's not useless. He's just not good enough.
Right.
And there's like a middle ground there. And, you know, and Murray admitted after the game, he's like, I'm not shooting the ball well right now. Like, he's
very, very aware that this is happening. And I'll just say, I think he's competing. Like, there's this sentiment that he is kind of phoning it in a little bit. I don't really see that as the case. I think that he is trying to get himself going, to get other people going, to do what he can. There are some times where he dies on a screen a little bit, or maybe he gets lost back door, but it happens to everybody. And I think that he is going through it right now, and it's tough. It's kind of painful to watch, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it is. I think it's tough for the entire team. On the other side, we'll talk about the Christian Braun play, and then I want to talk about, was this a turning point or just another game, and about the idea of playing for one another instead of just with one another. We'll talk about that up next here on Locked On Nuggets. We've all been there, spending more than we should during the holidays. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no monthly or maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or you can get paid 2 days early with direct deposit. You can learn more at chime.com/NBA. Great time to buckle down your finances. I know it's hard right now because it's like, oh, I want to get a gift for this person and this person and this person. I got to get dinner and all these things. But It's a great time to kind of examine things going into the new year and also get yourself in good financial shape. Chime helps with fee-free overdrafts of up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. You get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. No monthly fees or maintenance fees, and there's over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. You can set up a direct deposit in your Chime account. And after a qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. And with an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. Chime never charges overdraft fees for using Spot Me. Enjoy the holidays while keeping your financial goals on track with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Direct deposit timing dependent on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs and for OTC withdrawals. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. So let's hit this real quickly because this is like the most controversial thing of the night. It just doesn't necessarily pertain to the Nuggets. Christian Braun makes a suicide dive, grabs the loose ball, secures it. What a hustle play. Yeah. Absolutely 100% called that timeout. At 100% undeniably calls timeout. The refs do not see it. Told the pool reporter after the game, did not see it. Do not apply the timeout when the Nuggets did not have one, which Michael Malone noted was because they had to challenge a play again. And if they, even though they won the challenge because it was their second, they still had to use the timeout, which he notes is not fair. So nice little back and forth here. Kerr livid after the game with them not seeing that and not charging it. Would have been another sequence of a team calling a timeout when they don't have one. Christian said that they talked about them not having a timeout. Christian denied calling timeout, said, no. I mean, my hands were
just moving closer together, man. Like,
who knows how hands move, really?
Of inertia. Like, sometimes it just happens. Like, hey, just anything can happen on the floor in basketball. So, look, a great play by Christian. Denver got away with one for sure. But would that have really affected things at that point? I don't know. Like,
what?
Well, okay, so they call timeout, and Denver's up 4 at that point. So, yeah, I guess Golden State would have had a shot to win the game or to tie the game.
Yeah,
Denver would have.
They get the free throw to make it 3, and then they have to hit a 3.
Yeah,
with the greatest shooter of all time on the floor.
I'm just telling you, man, he wasn't going to win in Denver. That was not going to happen.
I don't know how you're more the villain than I. I want credit from everybody. I'm now the good guy here.
Oh, wow, good for you, man.
Man, what a troll. All right. So weird sequence, but this stuff happens. My only thing is I do want you to note that the Nuggets lead the league in free throws.
Do that?
And they got this call. Like, maybe you can back off on your agenda of feeling of your Ben DeBosing and chill out a little bit.
You remember that moment when Denver during the championship season was like, they put out that post of the last 2-minute reports and compiled all of them, and Denver was the most disadvantaged team over the last like the entire history of the last 2-minute report. So like, this is just some karmic justice to keep Denver at 11-8 as opposed to where they would be way worse.
Okay. So Aaron played really well tonight. I thought in coming back, 15 points plus 13, 9 boards, 5 assists for Aaron, and some big plays down the stretch as well. The bench was a mess. The bench was just awful. Westbrook, 7 points on 7 assists. He had only 1 turnover in this game and 5 assists. The energy was good, but not much else. Peyton Watson didn't play as much as Julian Strawther, which a lot of people noted was kind of notable. Julian, bad offensive night, 5 points on 2 of 7, 1 of 4 from 3. The question's like, if he's not going to hit shots, what does he do? The defense is so bad. He did have several great rotations in the second half, including a really phenomenal steal underneath. I continue to say the will is there with Julian. The mind is there with Julian. He's just got to get in the habit of it. He doesn't make defensive mistakes because he's like zoned out and not paying. He's a space cadet. He makes mistakes because that's rookie. Like, he's a rookie to me, and that's what rookies do. The mistakes that he makes are completely explicable to me, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue that. I think that he will be a much better defender later in his career than he is right now. The battle that we're going to have is just how ready he is to be able to execute those defensive schemes. And Denver, they're going to get this shortened rotation, and it's going to be a lot of minutes for their guys, and they're going to have to find ways to continue to get Julian on the floor because he is a talented offensive player. He is going to have to make those shots. He was on the floor for a big run at the end of the second quarter. I want to note that without Mike rotated out, and Denver basically closed the second quarter without Michael Porter Jr. on the floor, which was an interesting rotation for sure. And Denver, they effectively tied the game when they were down double digits at that point. So Julian can be a part of things. I think that he has to be a part of things when Mike is not out there because he needs to be the spacer.
The games against the Clippers and Golden State in particular, to me, are trying to see if Julian can hang in these games. And I don't know if the answer is yes, but you don't know unless you evaluate them.
100%. And Denver, like, they have to do this evaluation because, I mean, people aren't going to like to hear this, but the trade deadline is in 2 months. Denver's going to have some questions to answer.
And they don't have anybody. They just don't have anybody.
Yeah. They need to be able to answer those questions, and they've got a couple months to figure it out before they really decide how committed they are to this season in particular.
Zeke Naji was minus 11 in 5 minutes and 22 seconds. Oof. We'll talk about that later this week. We'll come back to the Zeke.
There will be plenty of time to discuss the backup center spots.
So we want to talk about this. The Denver Nuggets, as it stands, are 11-8.
Yeah, they
have a plus 3.3 adjusted net rating at dunks and threes, factoring strength of schedule. There are only above them, the only teams with a tougher strength of schedule. There's only one in the Western Conference, and it's the Los Angeles Clippers, and they have more losses than the Nuggets do by one. This was another one that I told Ryan before the show, and he was like, "What?" The Nuggets have, because I do everything with loss column. You can't make up losses. You can make up wins, but you can't make up losses. The Nuggets have 8 losses. The 2 seed in the Western Conference, the Houston Rockets, have 7. Denver is 1 back in the loss column from the 2 seed. Now, there are 5 teams between them and second and the Houston Rockets. But they are 1 game back in the loss column from second. They are 3 games back in the loss column from first. I know how the season has felt. I know how it's felt. We've talked about it. We've talked about how frustrating and bad it's been. They have wins over OKC, Dallas, and the Warriors.
Some good wins.
So I will ask you this. Would you rather they have a worse record, which would be basically 500 or below, and have played better, or the current situation in which they've played worse but are 11-8?
That's a tough one. And like that is really the question about this team, right? Like, what can they, like, what really matters is the end goal. It's the destination at the end in April, May, and hopefully June. Denver has to be prepared for those moments, and the way to get prepared is to do the things like you're talking about with Julian Strawther, with Peyton Watson, who like we're going to talk about this at some point. 18 minutes is just, that's not enough. He's going to have to play more if the team is going to be good defensively. Christian Braun's getting a crash course right now and being the starting shooting guard. There is a lot of things that they are trying to work through and get through. And the hope is that by going through those trials and tribulations, you're a better team on the other side of things. I don't know if they're going to be. That's the pessimist in me thinking, the pessimist in me talking, of course. But I do think that there is at least a possibility that overall, you get Jamal playing a much better game by March, April, and it really starts to feel like something different at that point. Whether that actually happens or not, like it feels like it's not really there. And so that's why I think I'd rather have the wins right now than them playing better but have a worse record, because you just need to bank wins to survive in the West and give yourself an opportunity so that you don't have to play Jokic 40 minutes for the entire season. I think the hope is that you can get it to the point where the entire team is playing reasonably well, and then in February, March, and April, you play him about 32 to 34, and then you're actually ready for a playoff run.
Denver is currently 6-1 versus teams under 500. That's really good.
Yeah.
And with the win versus the Warriors, they go to 6-4 at home. That's not good enough. They got to get better at home. That's going to have to be a big thing here. They're 5-4 on the road, which is good, but they're going to have to get better at home. Last kind of thing is, Malone kind of called them out before the game and was like, they're not playing for each other. Guys are worried about shots and minutes and these type of things and aren't willing to sacrifice. And I've kind of talked about, this is why I talked about all the ephemeral stuff with the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Like when everybody was like, what are you talking about in the first segment when I was talking about like the vibe and on the connection and all these types of things? Like none of this is, you're not going to be able to get the bench good enough to survive if the starters aren't good. Like it's going to have to be like, everything has to be cohesive. And then you create a good enough environment tactically to survive the bench minutes. It's never going to be good. You got too much money in the starting unit.
Right.
So after the game, Malone was like, I saw a lot more of that tonight. And then Adam asked Jokic about it. And he was like, no, I don't know. Maybe not, a little bit, I guess in the fourth quarter, a little bit. I think Nikola is definitely, he is wise enough to not call out his teammates. He would never do that. But I do think that he's just like, you're going to have to show me more before I really like get excited about this, because we're still so far away. But here's the thing is like, it's a process.
Yeah.
And the early parts of this have been ugly and they're still 11-8. And that's a lot of reason, I think, for optimism.
They're still close enough that you can justify being optimistic. And there's plenty of time for them to show that they are the best possible team they can be. I still haven't seen enough signs that the bench unit that doesn't include Jokic is actually ever going to be anything good.
Right.
And that is where like nobody has stepped up to fill that role, like including Russell Westbrook, who just like he plays really, really well with Jokic, and I appreciate him for doing that. But the minutes without Jokic on the floor, Russell Westbrook is still negative. And that's everybody. That's not him. That's not his responsibility. He's a minimum contract guy. It should be on Murray. It should be on Porter. It should be on AG. But they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure out how they can do it. Whatever they can. It's got to be probably a collective effort.
We will talk more about this week. We will get you covered on all that. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for Ryan and Swipa. Make sure to check out youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets. Give us a like and subscribe on our way. We're heading towards, we're going to get there. We're going to hit 10,000 this season. I believe we can do this. Go like and subscribe. Subscribe to Locked On Nuggets. Give us a 5-star review. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets.